A very happy morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the session. BA History Program, Semester 2nd, Session number 27. I am Sudhaji, Assistant Professor, Department of History, GFGC, Panipat. Before starting our discussion, let me pose you a question. Shall I ask you a question? Okay. Which battle marked the beginning of the Mughal dynasty in India? Recall and tell me the answer. Yes, your response is very correct. It was the first battle of Panipat fought in 1526. In today's session, let us learn about the causes and consequences of the first battle of Panipat fought between Babur and Ibrahim Ludhi in 1526. In previous class, students have learnt about 5 expeditions led by Babur on India between 1519 to 1525 AD. They knew that Babur was an ambitious person who was dare enough to take any amount of risk to prove his worth. Learning objectives of today's session: to enable the students to learn about the causes and consequences of the first battle of Panipat, to make them understand the historical significance of this battle, to know the reasons for the defeat of Ibrahim Ludhi. Learning outcomes: at the end of the session, students will learn the application of Tulugma war technique in the battlefield by Babur. They will locate Panipat and other places of Babur's empire in the outline map of India. Let us start with the introduction. Since we are learning the first battle of Panipat, we must know where does Panipat situate. Panipat was a town in Haryana, 85 kilometers from northwest of Delhi. Babur reached Panipat through Sirhind and Ambala along with 12,000 soldiers, whereas Ibrahim Lodi had a huge soldiers, that is 1 lakh soldiers, and it's not 100, it is 1000 and more than that also, 1000 elephants. The numbers may vary. Both of our parties met at Panipat on 21st April 1526 AD. By looking at the huge strength of the army of Ibrahim Lodi, the soldiers of Babur lost the spirit of fighting. Babur, being a leader, made a direct appeal to them by saying that, listen to me carefully, the motivating words of Babur which filled his soldiers with positivity. He said, remember that whosoever enters this world is subject to destruction, for God alone is eternal and unshakable. He who commences the banquet of life must at length drain the cup of death. Almighty God has ordained for us this fortune, put before us this noble destiny, that if we are vanquished, we die martyrs, but if we are conquered, we have won his holy cause. Therefore, let us swear in the name of Almighty that we will never flee from the death so glorious. Let's fight. Motivated by the speech of Babur, his soldiers got ready to fight for him. Now, on the screen, you can observe the outline map of India on which the places, the route followed by Babur to reach Panipat, Sirhind and Ambala. Also Panipat, all the three are in Haryana only. While locating the places on the outline map of India, you must refer latitude and longitude. You should not be approximate. Refer atlas also. You know pretty well that the knowledge of history remains incomplete without the knowledge of geography. Geography and chronology are the two eyes of history. So, you refer map always. Geography provides stage to enact the drama of history. Hope you will. Now, let's move on to know the course of the battle, which is very interesting. Ibrahim Lodi's army, composed of mercenaries, They were attacked by Babur's artilleries. It is not the strength, but the techniques matters in the battlefield. Babur used the tactics of Tulugma, encircling Ludhi's army and forcing it to face artillery fire directly. The technique of Tulugma was also used to frighten the war elephants. Babur's artillery wreaked havoc. Within half a day, about 15,000 soldiers were died, and Ibrahim Ludhi was one among them. For your kind information, I would like to elaborate the war technique of Babur called Tulugma. Listen to me carefully. When Babur had powerful enough army, he turned his attention to Delhi Sultanate when Ibrahim Ludhi was in power. This would be the first battle of Panipat in 1526 AD. Ibrahim Ludhi was pretty confident of his size of his army and number of elephants he had. It was the time for Babur to surprise Ludhi with a new weapon of war, which Ibrahim Ludhi had not seen ever before. Babur used cannons called Pirangi Topu, filled with gunpowder in this battle called Tulugma strategy, which he had learned from Uzbeks. Let us know how does it work. First, the whole army was divided into left, right, center and reserve army, what we call Edapantiya, Balapantiya, Kendra Sainya and Mungada Sibbandi Sainya. The right wing was rested on and was sheltered by the town of Panipat, while the left wing was posted in the dry bed of the river Yamuna and then 2 miles east of Panipat. It was protected by trenches covered by felled trees. Second, the center flanks had cords connected with the ropes made of raw hides. Kacha Togalinda Madida Hagga. It was facing the enemy. Third, behind this arrangement, there were cannons placed behind movable mantlets. The left and right flanks would encircle the entire enemy army, and the middle flank would force them to face artillery's fire from the cannons. This system improved the defense as well as attack of the Mughals' army, as the cannons were easily shielded by the cart mantlet combination. And cannons could also be moved to the new places to hit the new strategy with the help of the wheels of the mantlets. Don't you think that it is a genius war strategy? It worked like a charm. It was a devastating battle. Ibrahim Ludhi's elephants pricked out. They started running here and there in the battlefield. They started trampling their own troops. Soldiers were losing courage. They have never seen like this previously in their entire lives. The Battle of Panipat first lasted from 9 o'clock in the morning till noon. When the superior strategy and generalship of Babur won the day, Ibrahim Ludhi was killed fighting bravely to his last breath, and 15 to 16,000 of his men lay dead on the field. Of these, 6,000 fell round the body of the king, making a hill like a heap of dead bodies. Among the victims was Raja Vikramajit of Gwalior, who fought like a true Rajput on the side of Ibrahim, who had lately been his enemy. The sun had mounted spear high, writes Babur in his memory Baburnama. When the onset began and the battle lasted till midday, when the enemies were completely broken and routed and my people victorious and triumphant. By the grace and mercy of Almighty God, this difficult affair was made so easy to me, and that mighty army in the course of a day was laid in the dust. So such was the course of the battle of first battle of Panipat. Let us now assess the causes for the victory of Babur over Ibrahim Ludhi. Babur's well-trained, disciplined and brave soldiers contributed for his success. Babur had the strength of character and experience of a veteran general who motivated his soldiers by his emotional speech. He used superior strategy and generalship. He also used artillery and tulugma, a method of warfare. Babur used horses, whereas Ibrahim Lodi used elephants. An unpopularity of Ibrahim Lodi. These are the factors which led to the victory of Babur over Ibrahim Lodi. Let us know now the impact of the first battle of Panipat on Indian history. It led to the foundation of Mughal Dynasty, fatal blow to the Afghan rule. It put an end to the Ludhi's rule. In turn, the Delhi Sultanate also came to an end. It introduced wide use of artillery for the first time in Indian history. Babur captured enormous wealth and it had enhanced Babur's dignity, fulfillment of Babur's ambition. Now on the screen, you can notice Babur's kingdom in the initial years of his foundation of his empire. Let us summarize the causes and consequences of this historical battle of Panipat first in 1526. The victory in the first battle of Panipat did not give virtual sovereignty over India. Other Afghan military chiefs and the Rajputs under Rana Sanga were aspiring to capture power in Delhi. In fact, the first battle of Panipat was the beginning of the difficult task ahead. Before winding the class, let me dedicate few of the verses of Sahir Ludhianavi, which tells about the devastating nature of war. Listen to me. Whether blood be ours or theirs, it is the blood of mankind. Whether wars be waged in the east or west, it is the murder of world peace. Whether houses be bombed or borders, the temples of the soul is wounded. Whether our farms be tortured or others, it is life that convulses with hunger. Whether tanks roll forward or retreat, the earth's womb is discreted. Whether it's the celebration of victory or mourning of loss, it is life that weeps at the graveside. War is a problem itself. How will war resolve problems? Today it will rain fire and blood, tomorrow hunger and scarcity. Thus, O all the people of decency, it's better if war is averted, and better too if in our courtyards the flame of peace flickers ceaselessly. Say kindly no to war. Say no to war. Let us have a quick recapitulation before winding the session. The main points once again. Causes and consequences of the first battle of Panipat. Its historical significance. Factors responsible for the defeat of Ibrahim Lodi. Application of Tulugma, the war technique in the battle. Skill of locating the places on the India map. As a part of assignment, you can visit museum to have a glance the war weapons used by the kings and emperors. and you can write a note on the causes and consequences of the first battle of Panipat. The books which I referred to prepare this speech are